Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? I'm a little burnt out. Sorry, that sounds like that sounds terrible to say. That sounds terrible to say. I hop into stream, I go live, and then the first thing I say is, "Oh god, I feel like shit, guys." No. Apologies, apologies. I've had a slightly eventful last 24 hours. So I am feeling a little fatigued, and I don't think I'll be doing too long of a stream today. But that said, I really did want to continue my Sir Brant playthrough because I think of all the games that I'm playing at the moment, I am enjoying talking the most in this one. I mean, obviously, it's a text adventure, right? So there is, there's a lot of room and a lot of space to be talking in the first place, but I really do enjoy like the kind of tangents I can go off when I play this game, and I think that the subject matter is very interesting. Like the subject matter is very um like for lack of a better word, the subject matter is quite brutal, but I do think that there are some topics within this game that are pretty interesting to talk about, especially as it relates to like the societal structures and essentially how this universe and society works in comparison to how our society works either today or, historically. So, from memory, in the last stream, we were able to prove our worth and justify getting into the Imperial College, where we will learn, hopefully, Imperial law and become a judge so that we can become noblemen. Welcome, JP. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? So let's get right into it. It's funny. Earlier, I was going, "Oh, I'm so low energy. I'm dead inside." You know what? If I'm low energy, if I'm dead inside, then I think that's a perfect fit. Perfect fit for the subject matter, isn't it? The life and suffering of Sir Tooru Brand, because there is no life without suffering. But yeah, how you going, JP? Well, let's continue. So we are now in our youth. We've passed the adolescence, and we're now enrolled in the Imperial College? I think, yeah, college. Imperial College. And the idea would be to... that's loud. Holy fuck. The idea would be to obtain for ourselves a proper education in order to, meet the standards to become a judge. You return to the lodging house one last time to gather your belongings for the move to your new home. A young man dressed in the uniform of the military academy greets you by the door. It takes you a moment to recognize Thomas. Your friend locks you in an embrace. Look at him. He looks in good nick. Like, look at this guy. I mean, he's got like the what's that? Like the brigandine, I think? No. This is still like, I don't know. I don't really know like medieval clothing too well, but he looks in good nick. And what I mean by that is that beforehand, right? Like when you're talking with him, in your childhood and your adolescence, he's seen as this very kind of scrappy, kid. And so even though he's like, relatively large, when you think of scrappy, you think of someone who's like sort of like undignified, like hair's like sort of messed up, and he fights dirty because he's a filthy, filthy commoner and all of that shit. But here, he looks like he's refined himself a bit, and I don't necessarily mean like in a nobleman way, like he's not refined as in posh or anything like that, but I mean that he's standing straight. He looks confident. He looks tall, like Thomas has matured since we last saw him. And I think that that's really cool that, like bonds of friendship, right? So like you can see the growth and the progression of the people around you, because the thing is, right, you can sort of see it with Stefan, you can sort of see it with a lot of people in this game. But I think it's very important to see the growth of Thomas, because Thomas, like he's your best friend, and so his growth will act as like a sort of mirror of your growth, because as he grows, you grow too. And I think that, charting Thomas's growth is a really good way to sort of like contrast your own growth compared to that. I think that's what I was going for in the end. Sorry, it was so long-winded. Your friend locks you in an embrace. Brant, hey, how are you? I heard about the nasty stuff that went down in the college square. Those damn gentry would do anything to keep low-born folks under their thumb. I'm glad the situation resolved itself. As for me, I'm an academy cadet now. He's beaming with pride. Look, he does have, he does look proud. Good on him. You invite him in and you chat while you pack. Thomas continues to relay the news as you walk up the stairs. I made it into the top 10. Can you imagine? Did pretty well in sparring and the sciences. It was all thanks to the help you gave me back in school in Anazot. I'll be studying the art of war now, and then it's a quick march to a noble title. What about you? You tell Thomas about what happened over the past few days and the path that you have chosen. He remains quiet as you speak. Both of you realize you may never see each other again. Brant... Aw, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. Brant, here's what I think. You may have your own path in life, but you're my friend. Ah, this is sweet. You gotta make sure our friendship lasts forever, no matter what happens to us. Here, I brought 2 brass rings. If the old tradition is to be believed, both the rings and the wearers will always remain close to each other, no matter where fate takes them. What do you say? The 2 of you grew up side by side. Thomas, the audacious, hot-blooded, sharp-tongued boy who used to live next door. You can't imagine your childhood without him. But would it be right to promise him that your friendship will last forever, no matter what happens? I think the answer is yes. I think the answer is an undoubted yes. I'm not even going to hesitate. I mean, this friendship ring tradition, I've got to be honest, it sounds a little weird, but I don't give a shit. Thomas is my bro, and we are bros for life. There we go. Keep things as they are? Okay. Wait, remain friends, bound by friendship? What does that mean? Oh, I don't like this. Like, from a metagaming perspective, I don't like the sound of this, But Thomas is my friend, We've been through a lot together, guys. And Tooru does not forget his friends, so we'll swear an oath of friendship. There we go. You take one of the rings from his outstretched palm. The 2 of you have walked side by side ever since you were children. Even now, you're walking in the same direction towards a noble title. You as a judge, and Thomas as a warrior. Nothing will ever tarnish your bond. You swear an oath of eternal friendship to Thomas. That's very nice. Thomas solemnly swears the same. You put the brass ring on your pinky. A perfect fit. Thomas follows suit. He starts beaming again. Ah, that's nice. That's nice. Now we're friends forever, for all eternity, BFFs. We gotta celebrate this. Come. I know a place. I gotta show you. Tastiest mead I've ever tried, Brant. My treat. Oh. The 2 of you go to a noble salon by the square of Emperor Severin. Surrounded by tobacco smoke and mead bottles, you wag your tongues, recall the days of your adolescence and make plans for the future. Nobody knows what could be waiting for you, but you promise you will never lose sight of each other. Ah, that's sweet. Bros for life. And there's, I'm really happy because Thomas is a good guy. Thomas Guerrero is a good guy. And hopefully that won't, hopefully that won't fuck us over in the future, Hopefully that won't come to bite us in the ass. You and Thomas form an unbreakable bond of friendship. Ooh. Next page. Okay, so as soon as you are accepted into the Imperial College, you send a letter back home. The family replies quickly. The letter arrives in under a week. Most of it is covered with your father's handwriting. Yes, because Robert Brant was very insistent that we follow his footsteps. But, we do what's right. I am proud of you, my son, and I believe your grandfather takes pride in you too. You have brought our family one step closer to being ennobled by the sword. You will make an excellent judge. I have complete faith in your intellect and your will. You shall bring glory to our family. Stefan's congratulations follow your father's. Ah, Stefan. Congratulations, brother. The simple folk could only dream of what you have already achieved. You can thank father and grandfather for this opportunity. But it was you who proved yourself worthy. Hey, that's not bad. That's not bad. Once you receive your new lot, you and I will be equals at last. Okay, that's a bit of a dampener, but he means well. Stefan means well. Then some words of praise from Mother and Nathan. You have brought your father much joy and made him proud, and I am witness to this. You now walk this path all thanks to him. Yet it saddens me that you did not consider the divine seminary, where you could have dedicated your life to our gods as well as the empire itself. Lydia, Lydia's, of all the people around Tooru, Lydia and Gloria have by far had the toughest life, just because of how this society is. So while Tooru wasn't too interested in becoming one of the priesthood, he can definitely empathize with how Lydia is feeling. Or maybe not empathize, but sympathize with how Lydia is feeling. And definitely one of the reasons that Tooru wants to become ennobled by the mantle is to improve the lot for his family, which of course includes his dear mother and his dear sister. Nathan, Brante, you worked so hard for this. We held a big feast in your honor back home. I hope you achieve all you've ever wanted. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. A supportive younger brother. And then, at the very end, there is a small note from your sister. Oh, boy. That's a business call. That's a business congratulations. Congratulations, good luck. Oh no, Gloria. She doesn't seem too enamored with everything going on. Alright, so Robert Brand is very, very happy with us. Stefan is also quite happy with us. Gloria is not happy. She does not like the fact that we are choosing to sort of become part of the system that has caused her life so much misery. And it's unfortunate, right? It's unfortunate, but we live in a society, and that means that we have to live in it. Not everybody has the capacity to change the society that they're in. The majority of people, unfortunately, have to live in the society that they're in and make the most of the circumstances they find themselves in. Nathan's pretty ambivalent. That's so loud. Nathan's pretty ambivalent as to our career goals and all of that thing. Gloria's not happy because she hates the fact that we are feeding into the nobility, and our mother is not happy about the fact that we did not go into the seminary, which is unfortunate. But again, you try your best to keep relations good with the family, and that's all you can really do. Nathan never leaned into any path. That's true, JP. He never did. So with Nathan, he's pretty ambivalent. He just looks at Tooru for guidance, though. He sees Tooru as this perfect older brother. He doesn't really like Stefan. He's not that close with Gloria. Nathan always leaned into Tooru for inspiration and how to guide his life. So he just wants Tooru to be happy, and then maybe come home and, help him out and that sort of thing. It is only a few days since you became a student at the college. Your education has barely begun when an amazing piece of news surprises all the students. Every year, Cornelius Tempest, the great chancellor, and the emperor's younger brother, grants an honor to all the future nobles of the mantle and invites them to a masquerade at his summer palace. The professors and lecturers instruct you to look and act your best in order to preserve the college's honor. They tell you more about the ball too. All who attend it from the college must prove themselves with word or deeds to the members of the great Archnean dynasties that will be present there. This means the reputation of your home province will be at stake too. Oh my god, all of these sound prompts are very loud. It's time to get ready. You order a proper suit for the occasion and a mask to go with it. It looks simple, but by no means plain and only hides your eyes. The day comes. You spend an entire morning preparing for the ball. Your fellow students give you hints about how to attach the cuffs, keep the collar straight, and make sure your hair remains coiffed for the entire night. Soon, the carriages start flocking to Cornelius Tempest's summer palace. The tall, ornate outer fence surrounds a sprawling garden in full bloom. The marble-paved driveway is so wide that it can accommodate 2 rows of carriages. You and your fellow students walk up to the massive stairs to the front. The massive stairs to the front door of the palace. You seem tiny and incongruous against the background of this scenic grandeur. Oh my god. The game sounds are so fucking loud. I feel like I'm getting jump scared by an opening door. The Master of Ceremonies instructs all newcomers to seek their province's coat of arms. You see the banner of Magra from far away, depicting the silver tree digging its roots into the murky grey soil. Below it is a banner bearing the coat of arms of the Milanitis dynasty. It turns out students from the college were not the only ones invited to this party. You see Academy cadets lined up beneath the banners too, and Thomas is among them. A wide grin appears on his face when he sees you go under the banner of Magra. I just knew you'd be here today, pal. What could I say? Congratulations, student. As for me, I'm not so bad off myself, see? The military academy is father and mother to me now. Hey, Thomas, my boy. His merry speech is interrupted by a tall, proud Archnian with a heavy cloak. Oh no. You recognize him. He is Dorius Otten, Sophia's former master. Oh no. This could actually end very badly. Make way for your commander, soldiery. The last time you saw Otten, he was searching the back streets of Anazot by your house for a girl servant. By now, the young Archnian's uniform betrays his high standing. He is young, yet he is already the province's commander, who put him in charge of all the military forces of Magra at such an age. What's wrong? You know him or something? A brief description of Otten is enough to wipe the smile of his face. You see no other high-ranking officials bearing the colours of Magra at this party. It seems that Dorius Otten will be the main representative of your province tonight. You watch the other college students and the academy cadets line up under the provincial banners. The blue and silver banner of Archnia, the Emperor's own province, is in the very center of the hall. Judging by the hilts jutting out from beneath the belts, many of those who surround that banner are nobles of the sword. Thomas is clearly jealous. The group from Archnia stands proudly ennobled by its iconic and dignified history. The Archnian race and empire originated in their very lands. A sizable group of students stand under the banner of Monia, a wealthy agricultural province signified by yellow grains and a field of ore. I'm not sure if that's a typo. A field of ore. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if OR actually means something. I'm not smart enough, guys. The wealth of the young men beneath this banner is plain to see. Their attire is on par with the Archnians in terms of luxury, and perhaps even more vibrant in terms of color. The most numerous group of the party stands under the banner of Illyria. Illyria? Yeah. A yellow griffin against a field of azure. This game goes out of its way to like throw these fancy words at you. A field of azure? Well, you know. All the Illyrians are clothed in well-tailored suits with a minimum of decoration. Some of them wear gloves. Most of them come from wealthy industrial families, and it seems many of them would feel more at ease in their family's factories than at a noble party like this one. Ah, okay. Okay, that's cool. The 3 banners represent the northern provinces of Fiona, Hermia, and Constanta. These banners, like the groups associated with them, stand together. The royal Tempest dynasty oversees all 3 of them. The students and cadets are clearly well off, yet they are dressed in modest, functional garments to honor the austere traditions of the north. It builds atmosphere when they use fancy vocabulary. Yes, that is very correct. And I think that's actually intentional here, right? I think you've cottoned onto something, JP. So awesome job. Because yeah, like if we look at this, right, This is supposed to be like a super high-end fancy ball, because this is a ball that is hosted by the by the royal family, right? By what's his name? Tempest. I forget the younger brother, the younger brother. But anyway, this is a ball hosted by the royal family, containing Arcnean and human nobility of every province. So I think you're 100% correct that the game intentionally goes for goes for words that sort of stick out. And not necessarily like difficult words to understand, but words that kind of carry a sense of dignity and prestige in order to build the atmosphere of this particular event. So I think you're 100%. I agree. I think this is intentional. JP. So good catch. Good eye. And finally, the smallest of the groups is represented by an open book against Field of Argent. Astinia, our friend from Monster Hunter Stories 2. No. I'm joking. I'm kidding. Astinia, homeland of the Diamant Dynasty. By the order of Patriarch Junius Diamant, the open book of the new faith has been added to the banner only recently. Nearly all the young men beneath this banner are clothed in academy uniforms. They wear no adornments, but are clad impeccably, with nary a button undone, the embodiment of rigor and restraint. The master of ceremonies signals the beginning of the party. It is time for dancing. The first dancing is a minuet, and tradition calls for everyone to dance. Harpsichord music fills the hall. The Academy cadets waste no time finding dance partners, and soon are already making the fluid first steps of the minuet. You take a look around. One of the young ladies representing Mangra catches your eye. She's slender, like all Arcneans, and clothed in a yellow dress embroidered with emerald green. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. Her face hidden behind a full mask, decorated with bright green feathers. Okay, I mean, it's a masquerade ball. So, why are you surprised, Tooru? But, I think about that mentally in my head, and I think, oh man, that just looks sort of garish, It's a bit over the top, but it is a masquerade ball, so, when in Rome. What happens next seems unbelievable. The enigmatic young lady walks towards you. The way she looks at you. The way she walks. The black eyes from behind the mask watch you closely. She tilts her head. There are no words, but you feel there is a question. Everyone in the hall is startled by a sudden noise. You look behind you and see Thomas getting up off the floor. His face, a grimace of rage. Okay, what's going on here? Dorius Otten stands before him, eyeing him with disgust. His arm rests on the hilt of his sword. Well, what happened? Who allowed this clumsy commoner inside the great Chancellor's palace? Its noble masters are trying to dance, and it's getting underfoot. Thomas looks like he is about to explode in Otten's face, but the smug Arcnean's sword is a clear threat. If your friend's rage gets the better of him, he will end up in trouble. The enigmatic Arcnean beauty, however, quickly loses all interest in their quarrel. She comes even closer to you, expecting you to invite her to dance. No, you know what? So many times in this game, we've been at a flashpoint where Tooru has, he's fallen to his base urges when dealing with Sophia, when dealing with other ladies. Tooru has always done his utmost to follow, to follow ladies who might be interested in him, or to help ladies out. But you know what? Tooru, today of all days, he is full of willpower and motivation. He is not going to think with his hormones today. Today, he is going to defuse the quarrel He's going to defuse the quarrel and get his friend out of a bind. Because as you remember, we just swore an oath of friendship to Thomas. And so what we want to do here is to make sure that Thomas can get out of this situation with his life and his reputation intact. So what we're going to do is we are going to resolve the quarrel, because for just one night only, we are prioritizing bros over ladies. You stand between Thomas and Otten before they can clash. The Archnean eyes you with scorn. You shower him with a flurry of apologies for your friend. Thomas has never been to this kind of party before and still has a lot to learn when it comes to etiquette. And besides, he is clearly flummoxed from witnessing an Archnean up close. Otten smirks, just barely enough to notice. Well said. Sometimes I forget you humans are barely smarter than... Oh, this guy. I want to just run my sword through this guy. This guy is he's a nasty piece of work. Humans are barely smarter than beasts. Take pride in the fact that you are permitted to attend this party. You'll have stories to tell and all that. Very well. Away with you, and try not to get in my way. Why, I recognize your face, and now that I think of it, you hail from Anazot. I must have seen you on the street somewhere. There are just too many of your kind about, but you're rather sharp, and you've been taught how to behave. That's a welcome sight. You back away from the Archnean in the most gallant way, clutching your friend by the arm. There is a mixture of rage and bewilderment on Thomas's face. Once you're far away enough, he swears under his breath and heads for the refreshments. You follow him and watch him down 2 glasses of sparkling wine like a parched man guzzling water. Oh my goodness. Personally, I'm not a wine person myself, but to guzzle down like, 2 large cups of wine just like that, that's that's a bit much, that's a bit much. You've sure got skill when it comes to sucking up to the Archneans, friend. You saved my hide today, no doubt about it. Still feels like a bucket of slop right into the face though. Well, he's right on both counts, right? Thomas is clearly correct on both counts, because we did save it today. We did save him today, but it still feels like shit because what's his name again? Dorius. Dorius is just an absolute pile of excrement. He is a trash pile of a person, and unfortunately, people like him stand atop this society. So we have to bide our time and do things that that he would be happy with in order to preserve our reputations and our lives. Could have been far worse, you tell him. It could have been far worse, you tell him. Better a moment of shame than a fight with a mighty Archnean in the middle of a party. Assaulting an Archnean is the easiest way to meet true death. Thomas says nothing to this and downs a 3rd glass of wine. Out of the corner of your eye, you catch the mysterious masked Archnean lady, all beauty and grace, dancing with Otten. You could have been in his place had you so chosen, but you know what? Yes, we could have been in that place if we had so chosen. But to me, helping out Thomas and making sure that he doesn't make a fool of himself and gets himself killed, I think that's way more important, It's like on one hand, you have your childhood friend and his life. And then on the other hand, you have, a dance with a lady. Like, it's pretty obvious what Tooru is going to choose here, Pretty obvious what Tooru is going to choose. Don't say the dance with the lady. Alright. Next year. Let's go. We are 18 years old now. We are 18. I forgot what Otten had done in the past. Must have missed it. Oh, so Otten, so I'm not 100% sure if you're around for the previous arc, the story arc with Sophia. But what happened was that Otten was Sophia's master. So she was one of his servants. She was assigned to be one of his servants. It was the lady who, so Sophia was assigned to be one of his servants, and he was treating her absolutely horribly. Yeah, I saw the part where she had fled. Yes, that's essentially it, right? And then Otten comes looking for her, and you basically just lie to his face in order to buy time for Sophia to escape. So that's what he meant when he recognized the face, because it was that specific interaction, right? But we already know that Otten is a humongous piece of garbage. It was the lady who insulted you after you picked up her handkerchief. I recognize the name. Yes, you are correct, JP. That's, what was her name? It was Octavia Milanitis, right? And she's like the daughter of the rulers of the region. And what happened is that she dropped her handkerchief. So we picked it up and then we tried to get it back to her, right? And what happened was that the guards like knocked us out, you know? And she's like, "Oh, I don't want this handkerchief now. It's been dirtied by commoner hands." It was that sort of interaction, right? So yeah, I'm not gonna abandon Thomas for a person like that. You have lived another year in the capital. Eterna has been shaken by what is now known as the Trial of the 50. 50 people stand at trial at once, all prominent members of several political circles. Oh, they are accused of treason and conspiracy against the crown. The accused spoke in favor of reducing the power of the nobles and granting more rights to the common estate. There was no mention of rebellion, yet those words alone were enough to indict them. Hey, maybe we shouldn't concentrate the power into one social class. How dare you say that? As this one social class, we now have the power to execute you. Every session of the trial is open to the public. It is a show of power to discourage people from forming such circles ever again. You attend one of these sessions. The 50 face their verdict. Forced labor in the mines of Magra and Illyria. Did they change the spelling of Illyria? Because it was E-L-Y earlier at the ball, wasn't it? Now it's E-L-I. Illyria for the regular members, and True Death for their leaders. 6 men and 1 woman. I'm getting I've got bad vibes. I've got very bad vibes. But I'll hold them for now. Their public execution takes place in the central square of Eterna. Oh, okay. You remember the woman. Her name was Annie Sirin. She made a speech before her execution. A young woman, not too tall, her face almost plain, with long bangs over her eyes. She looks calm, even at this moment. You cannot believe she is about to leave this world forever. And Annie Sirin takes a look around before she speaks. Her voice is quiet, but you're close enough to hear every single word. She says she's happy to give her lives fighting for the rights of the people. Her cause will never die, Annie claims. Others like her will continue their work in hiding, for their cause is right and just. She's dragged away to the others. No, that's pretty rough. She's dragged away to the others. They put a sack over her head and tighten a noose around her neck. A hand yanks on the lever, and the 7 dangle in the air. Their feet tremble at first, then grow still. There are gasps and cries of discontent in the crowd. Oh my god, that's pretty brutal. I guess order goes up, but power goes down? Oh, no. So, yeah. They changed the spelling within that 1 year. Don't question it, yeah. Okay, that's alright. I mean, well, no. I mean, I can question it, right? I can question it. I mean, if I do, it's probably not gonna end well for me, but I can still question it. Your studies at the Imperial College may have begun with a luxurious party, but soon you settle into a routine of lesson after lesson. Along with dozens of other future judges, you spend hours listening to lectures in spacious college halls with high ceilings. Excuse me. You study imperial law and legislation, analyzing every technicality and interpretation. Oh my god, that must be so boring. That must be so boring. I think I've mentioned this on stream before, but I have a lot of respect for, like, people who are not only able to go through undergraduate studies at university, but also go back for masters and, especially PhDs. Because yeah, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Because like when it comes to specific career paths, you know, you need specialized qualifications, right? And for example, like we have judges here, so essentially that means law. So like our equivalent in the modern day, like you don't study to become judges, you study to become a lawyer. And then what happens is that over time, you know, as you prove yourself in your career, then essentially, you know, you can move into becoming a judge, right? But this is like really, really impressive. Like the fact that, you know, like for lawyers and all of that, or for example for doctors, or for anybody who has like a specialized field of knowledge, right? Specialized field of knowledge. I have a lot of respect, simply because I remember because I'm look, turtles have a long lifespan. So even though I look young, I've been on this world for a few years, you know. I've got family members, like I've got relatives from the Galapagos Islands, and you know how long they all live, right? So I've got that old tortoise blood in me. But yeah, like, well, when I went to university, I do remember like it was a sort of quite an adjustment from high school, because in high school all of your lesson plans are laid out for you. You know, you're at the school from a certain time and you leave at a certain time, and it's the same every day, and you have your schedule and you're physically stuck in the location, and you know the school determines what time your lessons are, and like it's all organized for you. But once you get into university, you start to have freedom of your own schedule, and that's the one thing that was really difficult for me to handle. Not because, oh, I'm doing too much, you know, but because of the opposite. Because I had control over my schedule, it actually requires a lot of willpower to set up your schedule in an efficient way. And for someone like me who likes to goof off, and look, like look at me, I'm a turtle, right? So it takes me a little longer to do things than an ordinary human being, right? Because I'm not human. And so it takes me a little longer to do stuff. And so what that means is that I essentially, at least for the first year, like once I got into like second year, especially third year, I tightened up a bit. But especially in the first year, when I wasn't used to like having the freedom of my own schedule, I set out my own schedule in a really inefficient way, just so that it would leave me with the maximum amount of free time. And so that, like, I felt like I got nothing done. I felt like I did nothing productive that year, because it was like I had freedom of my own schedule, and instead of using it to be productive, I just used it to slack off. And so I know that when you get into like postgraduate degrees or like PhDs and that sort of thing, I know there's more specialized knowledge, but it requires more willpower. It requires more willpower in order to complete the course, because when you get into a postgrad degree, you know, you start to, you know, like it's more necessary for you to do your own research, right? And when I say your own research, I'm talking about like topics for the thesis and things like that. Like you need to go out and you need to be self-motivated, and especially when it comes to the PhD, because when it comes to PhDs, I feel like in the arts or whatever, then you have like a basic kind of degree or field of knowledge, but you determine what you determine like essentially what your course studies are, and it's very difficult, because you have to be motivated enough, you have to have enough willpower to be able to sort of understand what kind of knowledge and what kind of qualifications you want to aim for, and then work towards it. And to be honest, that's quite difficult. And for someone like me, you know, once I got the bachelor's degree, I was like, I'm done. Get me back into society, because as all of this is happening, as you are charting your own path into getting yourself, you know, higher education, you don't have the capacity to work full time. You just don't have enough time to work, you know, full time. Like you can get a part-time job and stuff, but you are delaying, you are delaying your life's journey in order to get some sort of qualification that can take 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, depending on how far you want to push it. You are delaying your life journey because you're making the gamble, or not the gamble, but you are making the assumption that, you know, you will get that progress back in return once you finish the course, right? You know, you'll be rewarded with your doctorate, you'll be rewarded with your postgraduate degree, and that will shortcut you into, you know, high-paying careers or a career in something that you're passionate about. It will give you credibility, it will give you status, you know, and so it's like this idea of like delayed, you know, like you are delaying your life progress in order to jumpstart yourself later. And for someone like me, I think that's very difficult to do. So I have a lot of respect for people who do go through the process and who are able to complete it. Lots of respect to those people. Black Zetsu, welcome to the stream. You caught me in the middle of a rant. But welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a lovely day today. Hope you're doing well. Hope you are doing well. All right, so let's continue, guys. Yet the law is not the only thing you study. There are other disciplines as well, such as rhetoric and orthography. A true judge must have a perfect command of both the spoken and written word. Washing a dark blue ink off your fingers becomes an indelible part of your daily routine. I like that too, like perfect command of the spoken and written word. And then you use a word like indelible, which is not a common word. Very nice. Nice touch, game. Of all your classes, you find the fencing lessons particularly exciting. Every lesson covers your body with more cuts and bruises and makes your muscles ache from exertion. But your childhood dream is worth it. Then, finally, there comes a short break in your studies, a handful of days for rest and recreation. You meet Thomas to discuss how you're going to spend this time. You're coming with me tonight. No excuses, Brant. We'll be paying a visit to our mentor, Baron L. Croix. It's time you learned a thing or two about how we do things in the military. Ooh. Your friend looks very cunning and pleased with himself when he says this. This guy. With a sigh, you change out of your college uniform and into your best clothes and follow him. Thomas rushes you to a 2-story house somewhere in a noble neighborhood in the capital. Its windows are open and you can hear people talking over each other. Oh wow, he looks very dignified. The house's sitting room is filled with young people, at least 24 men, almost all of them academy cadets. In the middle of the sitting room is an armchair, and in this armchair is a gentleman wearing the uniform of an Imperial Legion officer and smoking a pipe. His thick hair falls over his large, observant eyes. Baron L. Croix welcomes the two of you with a slight nod and continues his speech while everyone listens respectfully. Nods in your general direction. As I was saying, young men, I firmly believe that the days when all the military glory of the Empire belonged to the Archnean dynasties are long gone. Human nobles have been serving the Emperor at least as well as the Archnean nobles for a long time now. Still, the Archneans keep acting like their origins are more important than honor and service to the crown. I'm doing good. How about you? That's good to hear, Black Zetsu. That's very good to hear. I'm glad to hear that. I've had a little bit of a rough day. I'm not gonna lie. So I don't think this stream is gonna be super long, but I'm doing quite well right now. So thank you for asking. Hopefully you've got, you know, some good plans for tonight where you can just take things easy and, you know, chill and relax. And I'm glad you're here. Take the Milonitis dynasty, for example. The Archdukes of Magra, long ago, their leader, Char Milonitis, fomented a rebellion against the rule of the Tempest and the Twins' faith. He sucked all life from his own land, doomed thousands of his own subjects, and yet the Milonitis dynasty still rules over Magra like nothing ever happened. Then, suddenly, Sir L. Croix flashes a cunning grin. I think this calls for a test of your strategic thinking, young men. But first, let me refresh your memory on the rebellion of Char Milonitis. It might seem surprising, but we have him to thank for our current status. He was the first to ennoble humans, an act of unprecedented insolence. But it gave the rebellious Duke immense support in his province. He risked his own reputation and title to make himself stronger thanks to humans. And in that, he succeeded. No one had ever dared challenge the rule of the Arcnians and Tempests before, but the rebellion of Magra changed everything. Humans became a part of the nobility. We got a taste of power only the Arcnians could wield before, and, unless I'm mistaken, most nobles in the Empire these days are human. Why, we outnumber the members of the Arcnian dynasties dozens of times over. So, Char Milonitis had complete rule and control over the lands of Magra. He had the loyalty of his ennobled human subjects, and he had the loyalty of the mages and witches who fled to Anazot, the only place in the Empire where they could hide from the church. The Archduke of Magra had everything he needed to win, and yet two pivotal changes brought him down. First of all, he cast a magic spell that incinerated the entire Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This guy's like, he had everything he needed to win, but he made a fatal mistake. First of all, he burnt his entire province. What kind of strategic genius does that? Oh my god, it's not even like scorched earth or anything because they weren't invading yet. It certainly stopped the Imperial legions in their tracks, but like, the scorched earth doesn't work unless you're taking them somewhere else. But the population of Magra would no longer side with Char Milonitis after that. Second, the clergy struck at the rebellious duke with the power of the twins. His magic was gone and his main advantage was no more. Many fled. Was AFK? What did I miss? We are currently listening to a lecture from a very proud noble. We're with Thomas. We are with Thomas listening to a lecture from a noble. And this noble is talking some shit about the Arcnian dynasties, JP. That's what's going on. Many fled, but as you know, it still took the Empire an entire month of siege before the palace in Anazot was taken. After the rebellion of Magra, the Empire changed drastically, and most importantly, humans finally received their lawful right to be ennobled, and I'd like to stress that in particular, ennobled not by birth, but by virtue of their own knowledge and talent. History, young men, is more than just a memory of the past. It is also a lesson for our future. True. Big true. Like, big true. Big true. I think on a personal level, it's quite true. And on a macro level, it's also quite true. Like, there's that common saying, if you... What is it like? People who forget the lessons of the past are doomed to repeat them, right? Like, and that's like the sort of general quote about it. But it is also true because, like, speaking from a personal level, like the idea that I don't really know how to finish that thought. But it's just the general idea that, like, past behavior is like a good indicator for future behavior, right? Because even though people do change, like, you know, some people change drastically after a life-altering event, and like most people do change gradually over the course of time. Most people don't significantly deviate from the kind of person that they are as their mind matures and their beliefs and behaviors, you know, sort of calcify and solidify. You know, like, people do change, but the extent to which most people change is, you know, not a complete 180. So in that sense, you know, past behavior is a good indicator for future behavior. At least that's how I feel about it. I do know that there are people that change, so it's not a 100% ironclad rule, but it's not a bad general rule to have. And if you can, you know, you apply it to the individual, and then you take a look, and then you apply it to the general population as well. You know, if you don't recognize the lessons of history, then, you know, you are a chance to repeat them. So, go on with this. Oh, it's loud. With this, Sir Elcroy leans back in his armchair and takes a pull from his pipe while the cadets start discussing. JP, you missed the Tooru rant? Yes, I did. I did have a rant. I like ranting. Some take no time to say that they cannot believe Sir Elcroy thinks humans were first ennobled by serving the rebellious Duke. Others say the prolonged palace siege might have been a mistake, and storming the palace would have been a better choice. Soon the ideas start flying. Some only cause laughter, while others lead to debate. They are discussing the past of Anazot, the past of your hometown. You cannot possibly stay silent right now. If you were in command of the Imperial Legions back then, what would you have done? Based on what you know about the rebellion of Magra, you see 3 potential strategies. The first involves calling upon the twins' miracles to rob Milanitis of magic and render him powerless. The second entails putting your faith in the discipline and valor of the army for a frontal assault. The third means drawing out the siege, while making the enemy's life as hard as possible through cunning. Which of these 3 strategies would you have chosen? I feel like... Okay, so I have to think in 2 different mindsets here, guys. I have to think in 2 different mindsets, because in knowing what we know from history, if I were in this situation, what I would actually do is would rely on the will of the twins to rob Milanitis of his magic, because we know that that's what happens, right? And so I think that that would have actually, like, reducing Milanitis, like getting rid of Milanitis's magic, reducing his power and his status within like the city, I think that would have done a lot to cause people to rebel against him. And so you may have been able to take over the city without a protracted siege. So that's actually how I would do it, right? If I were in that position, with the hindsight that, you know, praying to the twins actually did work, right? Now that we knew that it worked, then that's what I would do, right? I would rely on the will of the twins to rob him of his magic and, you know, send agents out to try and bribe people and get people to rebel against the Duke in order to turn the city back into the hands of the Empire without the need for a frontal assault or a protracted siege. That's what I would personally do. But Tooru Brante specifically is he's a little bit of a different character. He is a, you know, he's a feisty boy. He's impetuous. He's angry sometimes. So we're going to press for a decisive assault, because this is what Tooru would do. This is what Tooru Brante would do. You meet your enemies face on, yeah? You meet them front on. You decided it's time for you to answer, Sir Elcroy. I actually think this is like a... Yeah. Speaking personally, I don't really like this strategy, but I think that this is what Tooru Brante would do. You begin by stating that you hail from the city of Anazot yourself. The cornerstone of the rebellious Duke's strategy was ennobling humans, you say. This won their loyalty and formed them into a veritable army. An army loyal to its leader can achieve any feat of valor. So the Imperial Legions also ought to have relied upon the valor and unity of their soldiers. Inspire the warriors, earn their loyalty, and take the castle by storm. That is the way. Sir Elcroy looks at you, studying you attentively. Brante, is that your name, young man? I'll make sure to remember it. You are absolutely right. The soldiers' loyalty to their creed, their commander, their emperor, these are the things that make for an undefeatable army. And I wholeheartedly agree. A decisive assault would have brought down the castle at the rebellion's very inception and destroyed all their will to fight. And this, young men, is the moral of the story. Tsar Milanitis was defeated, but not by the clergy and their prayers, and not even by the noble militias assembled by the other archdukes. He was vanquished by the Imperial Legions, a unified army with clear regulations and ranks and a clear chain of command, an army that is strong in discipline and loyalty to the Emperor. Long ago, only Archnians had the right to wield weapons and wage war, but now humans can prove their merit and earn the same right. Humans like ourselves. And the present empire has grown even stronger thanks to its new warriors and functionaries. These days, humans can judge and rule and create. The terrors wrought by the rebellious Duke are undeniable, yet his rebellion created new possibilities for all of us, including you, young Sir Brante. I'm not a noble yet. He nods to you in approval, and then his eyes finally move away from you and back And back to the rest of the young men in the hall. After hearing him praise you, no one dares to argue with the battle-hardened officer. The evening continues. Sir Elcroy shares some of his war stories, each more astounding than the last. You join Thomas and the other cadets in sipping wine and enjoying his tale. So here's the thing though, right? Here's the thing. I actually don't believe a frontal assault would have necessarily been a good idea. Because in cases like this, right? In cases like this, like, based on the scenario that Sir Elcroy has laid out for us, right? The rebellious Duke had loyal men, right? But not everybody was loyal because he went scorched earth on the region. And so, you know, I think what would have been more effective would have been to try and delegitimize the Duke by any means necessary. So potentially, like, you know, using the twins to get rid of his magic, or, you know, bribing people within the city and that sort of thing. And so I don't think a direct assault would have been ideal. I think undermining his authority and then getting the people themselves to overthrow him would have been ideal. So what you could have done is you could have had like a not like a long siege, but what you could have done is like have a blockade and that sort of thing. And then, you know, you feed people into the city, you feed spies, and then you start spreading rumors about how the Emperor is going to allow humans to be ennobled. And then that sort of cuts away under the feet of, you know, the Duke, because his policy to ennoble humans was what got him the support. But if the Empire commits to ennobling humans in the same way, then people will just wonder, well, why are we following this guy? And so I think that a smarter way to resolve the situation without blood would have been to use more subterfuge. However, that's not Tooru Brante. Tooru Brante thinks, not with his brain, but with his sword. You return to the college long after midnight. You often recall Baron Elcroy's story about the rebellion of Char Milanitis after that. The rebellious Duke lost the war, and yet he brought about drastic changes for humans in the entire empire. Very nice, very nice. There are days when you receive letters from home. Father's writing is very reserved. He mostly discusses events and work in Magra, and writes very little about the family. It makes me proud that I have managed to teach Stefan how to handle our affairs at home. Your older brother behaves impeccably at the society balls and the receptions that we host. He has already made several crucial acquaintances. But Gloria has a different opinion of Stefan. She thinks your older brother is taking more and more after grandfather. I mean, he's probably in the middle, right? He's probably in the middle, but leaning towards more like grandfather because he deeply respected grandfather, remember? Stefan is a lot like grandfather. It's in his manners, his posture, his voice. He even dresses just like him. He used to be aloof around me and we barely talked in the past. But now, yeah, see? That's shitty. But now he always blames me and tears me apart. I can't take it anymore. He walks all over me all the time and treats me like a housemaid. Ah, poor Gloria. The mother writes to you. From her letters, you learn that Nathan just barely managed to graduate from... Oh no, Nathan. Nathan! Please. It makes me sad to admit that Nathan has none of the talents you have. The other day, he told me he won't even try to study in the capital. He says he won't be able to pass the exams. I find solace only in the nights Nathan and I spend together reading scriptures and our walks to the church by the silver tree. He accompanies me every time. Well, maybe if Nathan, you know, wants to become a priest, I guess that's alright. Your sister and younger brother write about Mother too, and they say the same thing about her health. She spends more time locked away in her chambers to brood. Gloria does her best to accompany Mother when she leaves home, and Nathan's letters mention her steps echoing in the halls in the middle of the night. Oh no. Lydia has had such a rough life, and she's endured such trauma that I don't think she's all, you know, I don't think she's completely right in the head anymore. I feel like she's suffered too much mental trauma, and she can no longer function at 100% mentally, if you know what I mean. There is one more thing Nathan mentions in his letters. Stefan and Gloria have been fighting very often these days. Stefan always tries to get under Gloria's skin and she answers him in kind. Then Stefan calls her a lowly commoner to make her shut up. Oh man. Why are they like this? You always tremble in excitement each time you see a new letter with the seal of your home province. Your fate is still bound tightly to your families no matter the distance between you. Okay. Why does he like me less? What did I do here? Why does she like me less? What did I do here? Hello? Nathan? Hello? Why does everybody hate me? What did I do? You'll become a judge one day, so you are sent to the prefecture of Eterna to be mentored by a more experienced colleague. Your mentor is a judge of considerable age, a noble of the mantle with a proud bearing about him. He never misses a chance to remind you that being mentored by such an experienced man of office is a great honor. Your mentor entrusts you with his minor cases and, to his great joy, his night shift. This guy. He's just pushing all the work on you. You are gone? Oh, you mean like... Oh, okay. Because we're away. They like me less? Jeez, what kind of family is this? Another night begins. The office is growing darker. You are still there, zealously filling out the paperwork for the day. A petty theft. A verbal assault against a noble of the sword by a commoner. A fine for the parents of children who covered an imperial institution with obscene drawings. Petty cases, all of them. But they are real cases a judge has to face. And so you sit there, carefully comparing complaints, statements, and witness testimony. Then the door of your office swings wide open. A gendarme drags in a provocatively dressed girl. Her golden hair is undone, and her makeup is a fiery red. Girls like girls like her sell their bodies in houses of ill repute. The next to enter the office is a stout priest, his face adorned by the nose of a remarkable shape and a huge wart on his chest. You do your best to avoid staring at it. The gendarme gives his report. The girl was arrested with a certain gentleman in the park by the Temple of the Twins. They were commuting acts of carnality, an affront to the faith. The huffing and puffing priest interrupts him and starts yelling. Oh no, he saw her doing magic, he did. The gentleman was enthralled by the girl and he was glowing like a lamppost. You gesture for the priest to stay quiet and ask if the gendarme can prove this. The gendarme only shrugs. He didn't see anyone glowing. He arrested the girl for her sacrilegious conduct alone. The man in her company was a noble, so the gendarme couldn't bring himself to arrest him. He does, however, remember his name. The priest is huffing and puffing even louder now. It was magic! You must refer this case to the Inquisition. This witch was loose on the streets of the Empire's illustrious capital, seducing good men with her vile charms. The girl stays quiet all the while. Her eyes are emerald green, twinkling with gold as she looks at you. When she does speak, her voice is soft, like a smooth velvet. My name is Ailis. That sounds so ominous. My name is Ailis, Your Honor. All I did was obey the noble gentleman's wish. He wanted my affection right by the temple, and I dared not oppose him. I did not defy my lot, did I? The wench looks up and meets your gaze as she says these words. Her eyes reflect the candlelight in the dusk, sending sparks of gold dancing across the walls. The gendarme stands awkwardly by the door, sighing. The priest goes off on another rant. You tell him to be quiet. This day is not over yet. You must decide how to resolve this unusual case on your own. The law says a judge must investigate all circumstances related to a case. You know the name of the nobleman who was seen with this girl in the throes of passion. The gendarme was afraid to question him, but you are a future nobleman yourself, a young judge. Surely you can find a way to resolve this matter with discretion and get the information you need from the nobleman. But perhaps This suspicious Lady of Evening Alis is at the heart of the matter. You have no doubt she will reveal her true colors if you question her. If the priest was right about her using magic, the girl's fate is sealed. Okay, that sounds so suspicious. Your Honor, you look up from your desk and into the eyes of the beautiful Alis, and you suddenly feel as though a divine light is shining upon you. The emotion flows like a river. It lifts you up. This is more than beauty, more than passion. This is much, much more. Will you resist this call, or will you heed it? I want to say find the nobleman, right? I'm definitely not going to release her. I'm definitely not going to release her. But I also don't think I should interrogate her. Because, like, I don't know, she's so suspicious. She is so suspicious, but you know what? You know what? This doesn't involve Thomas, right? This doesn't involve our boy Thomas. So Tooru, he's a sucker for the ladies. He's not going to release her because he has to do what's right by the law. And what's right by the law is to find the nobleman, to learn more. Because remember, the law says a judge must investigate all circumstances related to a case. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to investigate. We're going to find the nobleman. You tell the gendarme to take the girl to a holding cell. Her eyes are filled with chagrin and pity as the man takes her away. You compose a polite and thorough letter to Sir Diego El Cantois, the nobleman seen with the girl in question. You delicately hint that his reputation will be safe and promise full confidentiality. When you come to the office the next morning, you see a nervous young nobleman waiting at the door. You must be Judge Brante, he says. You meet Sir El Cantois with a dignified greeting and start questioning him on the case of Alis the harlot. Is it true that the two of them ended up in the Temple Park because this was Sir El Cantois' wish? He says he barely remembers last night. He was quite inebriated and determined to have a good time. He spotted Alis by accident. She was standing under a lamppost by the temple. As for the Temple Park, he does not quite remember how he got there. You take his statement in accordance with established procedure. Next question. Would Sir El Cantois say his mind was clouded by the young woman? The nobleman turns red. He asks quietly. Haven't you seen the lass yourself, Sir Brante? How could anyone ignore her? She's so beautiful. I couldn't help myself. Yes. Still, you ask, was there anything suspicious about her? He speaks slowly. Yes, it was as though she could see his every desire, and he was happy beyond measure in her embrace. He felt like the gods themselves were smiling at him. Sir El Cantois. And yet, perhaps it was merely the wine and her beauty, and nothing else. You thank the young nobleman for his honesty, and promise to keep his statement a carefully guarded secret. You sentence the harlot to 2 days of pillory for defiling a place of worship for her depravity. You find no reason to refer Alis to the Inquisition, however. You write case closed on Alis's file and put it in the archives. That might bite me in the ass, but I'm not, I'm not too upset about that, I'm not too upset. I mean, it is what it is. You saved the enigmatic singer known as the Golden Voice from an untimely death. There we go. "19 years. Two major events take place. Oh, this is bad. Two major events take place while you are busy living your life. Firstly, Cornelius Tempest is no longer the great chancellor of the empire. He has been ousted and sent back to his province. His replacement is the Archduke of Monia, Agerius Monrogue, the same Monrogue who sought to shut down the college. The most powerful lord in the realm finally convinced the emperor that his brother Cornelius was giving too much freedom to the lowborn. Oh, that's bad. Now the policies of the empire will be reversed. Many fear that the new Great Chancellor will destroy the imperial code of laws and other achievements of Cornelius. There are cautious rumors among the people. They say that the new Great Chancellor is going to revoke the right of the common lot to be ennobled by the mantle. Oh, fuck. Secondly, Magra, your homeland, now has a new overseer, Gaius Tempest, the older brother of Emperor Uther II. Usually, the overseer of a province is its archduke. After all, it makes sense for the province's most powerful noble to impart the emperor's will to the locals. Yet now, this age-old tradition has been broken, and to no one's surprise, Archduke Tarquinius Milanitis is absolutely furious. You know, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool that the that the names, right? That the names here, like it's like a mixture of different cultures, right? And so you can see for like Tarquinius Milanitis, like these are Roman names, right? And then you have Uther, you know, which is like a Romano-British name, and then Gaius, which is also Roman, but then you have what's his name? Oh, actually, a lot of these are Roman. A lot of these are Roman inspired, which is nice, Gaius Tempest used to be the main supporter of his brother, former Great Chancellor Cornelius Tempest. Okay, that doesn't make sense. The nobles at the Emperor's court say that this is a stratagem by the Archnian gentry who want Gaius removed for court affairs, along with Cornelius. Either way, Gaius Tempest and Tarquinius Milanitis will be at each other's throats over the province. This does not bode well for their future. But one thing is clear. Magra, your home province, is about to face great changes. Oh no. Alright, interesting to see how that pans out. The capital is preparing for a great celebration, the coming of age of Gerian Tempest, heir to the throne. The streets are being cleaned, the low-born merchants are gone from the squares, and flags and flower garlands have appeared on the buildings. By the Emperor's decree, everyone will celebrate for the next 3 days. Celebrate! Or else. Eterna is abuzz. A festive procession starts on the streets. Students from the college and cadets from the military academy will be there to show their gratitude to the Emperor's family for entrusting them with the power they wield. Ribbons and flags flutter in the wind. The streets are scrubbed clean and the scent of flowers fills the air. You march side by Thomas, carrying the banner of your province. Your friend's brown hair is unusually well combed today. He waves to every girl you see on the streets as you pass by. They giggle shyly and some of them wave back. Hey, my man, my boy Thomas. Did you see that, pal? Now look at that beauty. Look at that beauty. Oh, fucking oath, mate. Get a load of that beauty. Look at that beauty. She just smiled at me. Now, this is what I call living. I just love parades. The Tempest royal family observes the slowly approaching parade from the balcony of the Imperial Palace. They are joined by the Empire's highest dignitaries and provincial overseers. You see Emperor Uther II with your own eyes. There, high above, yet so close. The columns come to a halt at the balcony and salute the Emperor with the mottos of the college and the academy. You join the other college students in crying, "Learning is strength, learning is will." The Emperor raises his hand in a gesture of benevolent greeting. His voice echoes across the square. I accept your gratitude, my loyal subjects. Take pride as you wield your knowledge and valor in service of the Empire. All who are worthy will be ennobled by the mantle, by my grace. Okay, so he's guaranteed that right for now. The future nobles around you cheer the nobles' words, but the jubilation gives way to murmurs of discontent when Archduke Monroe, the new Great Chancellor of the Empire, steps onto the balcony. Everyone here remembers all too well how the Archduke attempted to shut down the college by force. Still, the Archduke is the de facto leader of the Archnian gentry. He is a force to be reckoned with, even for the Emperor, and so he is the Great Chancellor now. Hail your Emperor, common folk. Be forever obedient and grateful for the good graces you do not deserve by birth. The Archduke does not even bother to hide his contempt for the gathering below. Booed by the crowd, he rejoins the dignitaries in the back row. You notice one of them, a slender, elegant figure under an emerald banner with a black snake. She is Octavia Milanitis, daughter to the Archduke of Magra. Ah, yeah, this lady. Oh, that's new. You noticed Octavia too, eh? Our Archduke Milanitis sent his daughter in his stead. That's a sign of disrespect for the Emperor if I've ever seen one. Is he so enraged because he's no longer the overseer of Magra? I mean, can you imagine his surprise? That's never happened before. But then, everyone grows silent. A young, slender... He doesn't look too slender. He looks kind of stocky. Maybe it's the clothes. But he looks kind of stocky. A young, slender Archnian with a shy smile comes forth. There are whispers in the crowd. That's Prince Gerion, heir to the throne, ward of Cornelius, promise and hope of the common estate. To the left of Gerion is his younger brother Flavius. He is baffled by the sight of the parade below, too young to process what he is seeing. May the twins be kind to you, my future subjects. I promise to repay you in kind and help you prosper in your loyal service to the Empire. Exalted by these words, the future nobles roar as one. All hail Prince Gerion! Another figure steps into the view next to the heir. He is an Archnian, elegantly dressed, and his mantle bears the Tempest colours. He raises his arms, about to make a speech. Hey look! That's Gaius Tempest, the Emperor's brother, and the new overseer of Magra, by the by. It seems the Archnian elders want him as far from the throne as possible, just like his other brother Cornelius. Those two have been promising too many freedoms to commoners like you and me. Long live Prince Gerion, students of the college, cadets of the academy, time and again you have proven yourselves to the Empire by word and deed. Today is a great day of celebration, and in honor of Prince Gerion, you must ask the Emperor to guarantee forever the right of distinguished common folk to be ennobled by the mantle. So, ask now. The cadets and students freeze in hesitation. They exchange glances, unsure of whether to follow the words of the Emperor's own brother. On the balcony high above, Prince Gerion also remains still, awaiting erection from the crowd. Archduke Monrogue briskly steps into view once more. He takes several seconds to observe the crowd before he speaks. Imperial subjects, what the Emperor's brother wishes to say is that you must always remember that you owe your status to the Tempest dynasty. The Emperor accepts your gratitude and sends you off with his blessing. You may leave now, but the columns stay where they are. That's not what Gaius Tempest said. Let the Emperor hear us. The law. We ask for the law. Commotion and murmurs spread over the crowd as some of the future nobles refuse to follow the Archduke's order. There are shouts here and there. The law. We ask for the law. The academy officers and teachers of the college urge them to fall in line and resume the parade, but the tension is rising. The crowd goes enraged and unruly. You have to decide where you stand here. So, do we follow the order? Or do we demand our rights? Or do we bide our time? I actually want to demand our rights, right? Because at the end of the day, Prince Gerion is also awaiting a reaction from the crowd. So I think it is important that we establish ourselves as someone who will follow the law, be loyal to the Empire, but at the same time, we want our rights as laid out by the law. So we will demand our rights. This might get us killed, but we'll see. You cry out in support of Gaius Tempest's call for the law. You have the right to be heard, and you have the right to ask. Your voice grows stronger. Soon others join you. The chant grows louder with every second. The law! The law! Inspired by the support of your fellow cadets and students, you move through the square and urge others to join you. Thomas walks by your side, waving his arms wildly, inciting others to shout along with you. The law! The law! You, Thomas, and other vocal students gather in the very center of the square. Academy officers are trying to shout you into submission and order you back into the procession, but they are barely heard above your chant. Still, some submit and form back into the columns, but the impassioned chant continues, and you are at the very heart of the chanting crowd. An Imperial Guard cavalry regiment emerges from the palace. They start slowly advancing on the crowd, hands on their swords, pushing people out of the square. You have to stand your ground, so you start giving orders to defend the cobblestone beneath your feet with your future fellow nobles. With your fellow future nobles. You assembled into a double chain formation around the center of the square. It is strong enough to prevent the Imperial Guard from reaching the very center. The commoners go running left and right away from the horses, but the cavalry stops when it reaches your double chain. They cannot break through unless they are ordered to attack, and so they halt and wait for orders. The horses paw at the cobblestones. The cavalry swords are drawn, ready to come crashing down upon your heads. It is a standoff between the armor-clad cavalry and unarmed students and cadets. Had a call. What happened? How come there is a quarrel? So essentially what happened is in this parade, the Emperor's brother said that we have the right to ask to become ennobled by the mantle, and that it's part of the parade procession, so that we should do that and ask for the grace of the Emperor. But then the Archduke, the guy that we hate, you know, the guy who tried to shut down the academy, comes through, and he's trying to tell us that, you know, we should just go back and that we shouldn't ask for our rights. So what we did is we have gone ahead and formed a body of students and cadets to try and ask for our rights. And that's the reason why there is a quarrel, and that's the reason why the Imperial Guards are rounding in on us. Okay, hold on. Emperor Uther appears on the balcony, joined by his brother Gaius Tempest and heir to the throne, Jorian Tempest. With a gesture, the Emperor calls for attention. The square falls silent at the sight of the sovereign. My subjects, I have heard your request. There is no need to repeat it again and again. The great Imperial Council shall review my brother's proposal. Now follow your lot and obey my will. Continue the parade and sing praises to the ever-merciful Prince Jorian. The words of the Emperor are enough to quell the commotion in the square. The standoff ends, and the cavalry withdraws. Well, would you look at that, old friend? We did it. We stood up for our noble right and we won. That's the Emperor's word. That's what our courage can do. Voices from the crowd are quick to disprove Thomas. The Emperor never gave his word. He only promised to review the proposal. People begin to argue around you again. This time, however, no one wishes to disobey the orders from on high, and so the students line up into columns once again. The bout of defiance is in the past now, and everyone resumes the festive parade through the city streets. Glory to Emperor Uther, glory to Prince Jorian. Your studies at the college. Oh my goodness, hold on. I will actually be right back. I need to be right back. So just give me a minute or so and we'll get right back to the stream. Yay! We did it, guys. We did it. We stopped the evil rays and we made a new friend. Fantastic. I'm just gonna... I don't think there's anything actually here to pick up. Yeah, there's nothing there. Alright, there's nothing there. So there's no point going through all of that. We can just make our way back to town. Okay, wait. I'm gonna try and find the... There was like a caravan in here from memory. So if we can get the caravan... Yes, here we go. If we can get the caravan, we don't have to worry about like the geyser stuff. Welcome to our burrow. Beeline burrow. Here we go. And then they got the caravan on the side. Oh my god, the way you get dumped like that is very amusing. Very amusing. I will always enjoy the way that your character just gets turfed there as if they carded, you know? Very cool. Alright. Oh, the village chief is there. Man, you know what? You can fast travel literally anywhere by opening a big map and going to the caravan menu. Yes, that is true. That is true. It was explained to him last stream. Surely he hasn't forgotten. No, I didn't forget. I didn't forget. I don't know what you're talking. I didn't forget, guys. I didn't forget. No, surely I didn't forget. It was all planned. It was all planned. Right? It was all intentional. It was all intentional. I wanted to see the felines in the burrow because they're cute, right? It was all planned. I didn't forget. I don't know what you're talking about. All right. My friends, you're back. Are you okay? Or anything like that? Like, as for me, I've just had a very relaxing day where I haven't really had to worry about anything, you know? I can wake up on my own time, not have to worry about any kind... Oh, bug. Not have to worry about any kind of responsibilities or anything like that.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Wait. Ah! Holy shit, what the heck was that? Oh my goodness. That was extremely painful. Okay, cool. We survived that, guys. We just survived that. Did you see that? Did you see that giant, that massive rocket that was launched right at me? You know, I mean, you know, unfortunately, this character doesn't have a nice, thick turtle shell like me. So they're not able to just, you know, tank all that damage. That was actually quite scary. I'm not gonna lie. Rocket to the face. Oh, fuck. Okay. Whew. That's the kind of person I am. Shoot first, ask questions later. Whoa. Rocket to the face, turtle just. Indeed, Neko. I mean, it happens, right? It happens, right? Like, what's life? What's life without, oh, fuck! Without ballistic rockets flying at your face. Like, did you see that, though? Do you see that jump? This lame Fallout 3 tier jump, and I was able to evade a rocket. My god. Actually, I could just take out Dragapult this turn, right? Yeah, what am I thinking? And then you get, like, one turn of Dynamax left? Yeah. I can take out Dragapult this turn. Yes, honey. And the reason yes, honey, is because he's a bear. Alright, hello guys, I'm back. Okay, let's get right back into it. Your studies at the college come easy to you now. Only now do you realize the importance of all the lessons you had to endure as a child at father's expense. Month after month, you study the judge's trade, down to the smallest details, growing and more confident in your new calling with every lecture. Excuse me. Ooh. But there is more to your education than the judge's trade and imperial law. You also learn manners and courtly etiquette and poetry and composition and even fencing. On some days, you go with Thomas to a deserted patch of land to practice with the sword. Then, finally, the day of your judge's exam comes. You send your test results to father, and he replies with an appointment to a judge's office at the prefecture of Magra. You now have a new life and a new profession back home. You will return to your hometown as a judge. Yay! Yay! We did it, guys. We did it. All the hard work over the course of all of these years has finally paid off. And now we are a judge. That is so cool. It is the early morning of the great temple of the twins. Your heart skips a beat as you step inside the temple. It feels like that day from your childhood again. The priest is standing at the altar and the temple is divided into two halves, but you are no longer a frightened little child anymore. You are now a grown man who is about to become a noble. The floor on the common side is there to cause pain. You feel the jagged edges even through the soles of your boots. This pain marks your final few seconds as commoner. The priest stands before you. You kneel again, but now there is warm, smooth marble under your knees. You heard the words spoken above your head. From this day forth, your lot is strength and will. From this day forth, you will rule and fight and pursue the arts. Now, rise, noble. You place your lips on the smooth steel of the sword, and when you rise again, you realize that the trembling you felt ever since your first sacrament is now completely gone. You arise, a new man, your every motion now uncannily accurate, your thoughts surprisingly fresh, your muscles ready to face the fight. This day feels worthy of a poem, and now you can compose one if you wish. You touch your back. The mark of the lash from your previous sacrament is gone completely, erased forever. You hurry from the sacrament back to your room at the college. Your father's gift awaits you there, a sword. Your very own sword. Now it's time to celebrate. All college students are invited to a college tournament, then a party. The sword feels wonderful in your hand, a promise of future victories. The tournament begins. The stands are loud with anticipation. Never in your entire life you have seen so many beautiful, noble ladies in one place. But there is only one who attracts everyone's attention. The raven-haired, black-eyed Octavia Milanitis, the daughter to the Archduke of Magra. The daughter to the Archduke of Magra has graced the tournament with a visit. She's wearing a dress of emerald green, her austere hairdo immaculate. She's surrounded by her ladies-in-waiting, all beauties in their own right. When a noble enters the tournament, he must announce the name of the lady whose honor he is fighting for. Many shout the names of their loved ones in the stalls. You know that many would fight for Octavia Milanitis, but the onus of responsibility is too great. You take a few jabs at the sword, warming up for the fight. Soon, it is your turn. All eyes are on you now. The young lady Octavia hides her face behind the hand fan, yet her eyes watch you with curiosity. Alright, so who are we going to fight for? Who are we going to fight for? I want to dedicate I want to dedicate father. I want to dedicate the fight to my father, because it is through the diligence and hard work of my father that I am able to be where I am today. I actually don't want to fight in Lady Octavia's name, but like at the same time, I feel like I might as well, right? I might as well, just because Tooru's a cheeky little shit, and we do remember that he was willing to get punted in the face by Octavia's guard previously in order to try and return her handkerchief. So we already know that Tooru doesn't mind being beaten up and doesn't mind suffering violence for Milady's sake. So we'll fight in Octavia's name today. You approach the stalls and shout clearly and loudly, "You will fight for the honor of the young Duchess Octavia Milanitis." Slowly she rises from her seat. The stalls grow quiet. If you suffer defeat after such insolent words, you may face the ire of one of the ancient Archnean dynasties. Sir Tooru Brante? How do I know this name? Ah yes, you've already dared to draw my attention once. In memory of our amusing encounter, I will grant you the honor of fighting in my name. Do not disgrace it. The stalls explode with applause, celebrating your courage. The first fight begins. The duel, the rules are the same as for any noble duel. Whoever draws blood first wins. Your opponent does not put up much of a fight. A few minutes later, he misses a jab to the thigh. Your shirt is soaked with sweat. The hilt of your sword feels slippery in your wet fingers. From behind her emerald hand fan, Octavia watches you closely from her seat. You prevail in 3 fights in a row and prepare to face a new opponent. You know him well. He was mentored at the prefecture of Eterna after you. He is unusually quick and nimble of a fighter. He catches you with a feint, then follows up with a light jab to the side. Fair enough. 3 victories. Not bad. You salute Octavia Milanitis with your sword, and she gracefully accepts your gesture. We tried our best, guys. We tried our best. Sometimes it doesn't pan out. You have proven yourself well, Sir Brante. Who knew you would become a noble? And we would meet again here in the capital of the Empire. I must say, I am amazed. The eyes of the young Archduchess follow you even as you leave the arena. You will remember this day for the rest of your life. The day when you became a noble. Very, very nice. I would say that's a pretty good day. You have earned the judge's mantle and a noble title. Very cool. I'm very happy with that. Very happy with that. Surely. So now we go back home, right? And just before you leave the capital, you overhear something unusual on the street. Junius Diamant, Patriarch of Estinia, and one of the leaders of the new faith will stand trial before a church tribunal. The Order of Inquisition has accused Patriarch Junius of patronizing blasphemous witches and disseminating heresy. The Holy Tribunal claims that Junius Diamant was scheming to free all witches and sorcerers from the collars that fetter their accursed powers. And what's worse, the Patriarch was also accused of forming the Lotless, a dangerous secret society based in the Imperial capital. We know this is true. We know this is true because we've talked with Sophia before, who was Lotless, and then she mentioned Junius Diamant in really glowing terms, that she works for him, that she is working under him, so we know that this is actually true. Members of this society have been assaulting inquisitors and priests of the church, as well as freeing witches from the cleansing fire and helping them escape the holy law. Oh no, graduation. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. It's not graduation, JP. It's transitioning from one stage of life to another. Now, the Patriarch must face the Holy Tribunal of the Inquisition in Eterna. By all accounts, this is a devastating blow to the new faith and the end of days for Junius Diamant himself. The Inquisition will make the most of this opportunity to rid the land of this unwelcome Patriarch who dared shake the foundation of the old faith. But then comes the sudden news of Patriarch Junius's reply to the Holy Tribunal. It is no less stunning than the accusation. These words are nothing but lies. I will say this to anyone who dares to bring this accusation against me in person, but I want those hypocrites to bear the full weight of their responsibility for this slander against me, my flock, the Diamant dynasty, and the Holy Order. I agree to stand trial before the Holy Tribunal, but I will face them on my own land and on my terms. Patriarch Junius has already received strong support from Patriarch Luke and many priests across Archnia. Parishes of the new faith throughout the Empire are now speaking out in support of Junius Diamant. The Church of the New Twins, the Church of the Twin Gods is about to be rent in twain. Yeah. This is a full-on schism at this point. The Inquisition has no choice but to revoke the trial in order to avert the coming schism. Their new official stance is that Patriarch Junius has been wrongfully accused and the Holy Tribunal will now apply more cautious judgment during any further trials against followers of the new faith. Following the teachings of Patriarch Fotis is no longer seen as heresy by the Inquisition. They're backing down. The new faith is winning. The trial of Junius Diamant has been averted, but the divide within the church is only deepening. The new faith has directly challenged the old faith. The result is uncertain depending on who you ask. Some say that Junius Diamant all but pled guilty. Others believe that the Patriarch and the alleged rebellion against the church, as well as the Inquisition, is nothing but a ruse. There are also people who think this entire situation sounds like one of the secret chancellery's dirty deeds. One way or another, the Patriarch of Estinia and the co-leader of the new faith remains at his post. But for how long? And how will the old faith and new faith clash next? Oh, they're getting close. They're getting close. Farewell to the capital. The Reglata and Talrina rivers meet outside the city walls. You have barely left the capital since you came here all those years ago. A breeze is blowing in your face and the bright noon sun hangs above the shining pillar. Your stay in Eterna is about to come to an end. You arrive here a boy, full of hopes and aspirations, driven by your family's expectations and a desire to live your life as you saw fit. And now you have to leave, and this thought fills you with gentle sadness. Eterna did not become your home, and yet here you have finally found your path. Here in the capital, you became a nobleman and a judge. Now you are one of the rulers, the warriors, the pleasure seekers, the creators, those who spill their blood for the empire and family and honor. those who keep and honor the age-old traditions. This is your lot now. You are to work in the prefecture of your home province as a judge. Your path to this goal was a long one, and your friend Thomas was by your side all the while. You fondly recall your walks through the streets of Eterna, your secret fencing lessons, your heartfelt discussions. You have no doubt your future back in Anazot will be full of glory. And then you recall the black, enigmatic eyes of Octavia Melanitis, an Archnean from one of the great dynasties, a woman whose beauty and majesty make you tremble. You heard she would be returning to the court of her father, the Archduke in Magra. Will you ever see her again? You will meet your father once more. He tends to hide his feelings, but not this time. After all, you have fulfilled all his hopes, succeeded in your studies, and continued your family's noble legacy. Many things must have changed back home by now. You recall your older brother Stefan. Now that you have been ennobled, you are practically equals at last. This means you should follow an old tradition and bring Stefan a gift. And so, you head for the market district of Eterna. Soon, you're busy trying out swords at a weaponsmith's shop. There's a lot to consider for this gift. Stefan is taller, and his shoulders are broader, which means his sword must be heavier and longer. There can be no embellishments. Stefan would scoff at you if you brought him an extravagant weapon. At last, you find a suitable sword. Blackened steel, a subtle ornament of leaves on the blade, and a grip shaped like women vines? What does that mean? It resembles the seared soil of Magra beneath the silver tree. You choose the sheath with the same diligence. There, a light wooden frame bound in thin yet sturdy leather will make the blade easy to draw, and the buckle is sturdy enough. You leave the shop satisfied. You leave the capital the morning after. Eterna, the city where you spent 4 years, slowly disappears on the horizon. Will you ever see the capital again? You do not know. The sword, a gift for Stefan, is in your hands. Homecoming. After 4 years in the capital, you return to the home city of Anazot. Homebound, friends. We are homebound. Oh, achievement. Achievement unlocked. Very, very nice. The years of your youth have come to an end. The time has come to leave the capital behind and return to your family and new business in your hometown of Anazot. The years away from home were full of tumult and hardship. Your adult shoulders now bear the burden of your first life-changing decisions. Did you have the freedom to choose this lot for yourself, or was it your destiny all along ever since your childhood years? All you can do now is follow the path that lies before you. Oh, very nice. Very nice. I want to see, I'll see what the cinematic is, for like the next stage of life, and then I'm probably going to finish up stream, if that makes sense, guys, because we've reached a very important life milestone, and my voice is also starting to die from all the reading, because look, right, I'm a turtle. I'm not used to talking for prolonged periods of time. I know that there are streamers out there that can talk for like 5 hours. They can stream for like 5 hours and nothing happens to their voice, you know? They sound exactly the same when they start a stream compared to when they end stream compared to when they start a stream. But unfortunately for me, I am a turtle and I do like to spend a lot of my time hidden inside my shell. And so what that means is that I actually don't get the chance to talk to a lot of people. I do talk to people, I do socialize and all of that thing, but I'm not used to talking for prolonged periods. And one of the things that I want to do while streaming is sort of build up that tolerance wherein I can talk for a long period of time, but it's not easy for me. And it's especially not easy for a game like this, which has so much text and so much reading. So I want to see like the next sort of cutscene in terms of like where we are in life, you know, in any big events. But then after that, I think I'm gonna finish up stream. Or like 12 hours. Yeah, 12 hours, that's nuts. I don't know how people do that. I mean, I know how people do that, but but that would be quite difficult for me. I think the longest I've streamed was like about 7 hours, I think. And I wanted to like never stream again for like a week after that stream. It was a toll. It was a toll. All right, there we go. Now we go into peacetime.
A full adult now, I returned from the capital a changed man. Yet, my hometown was not the same as I had left it.
Oh no.
Fate had difficult times in store for all of us.
Oh, I don't like that. How's that supposed to be peacetime? That doesn't sound like peace. Alright. Alright. As the carriage wheels clack a steady rhythm over the cobblestones, you watch the lands of Magra, rendered dry and desolate by ancient magic, sail by the window. You're back in your home province, but you are no longer the boy who left it by this very road 4 years ago. You return, a nobleman and a judge. You're continuing the family trade. You have returned to serve at the province's prefecture. Your home, Anazot, is but a few hours away along this dusty road. The carriage is stuffy and hot from the sun, even with the thick blinders shut tight. It is a familiar heat, but now you will need to get used to it all over again. The heat weighs on you, but it also reminds you of your childhood. You will see your family again soon. To pass the time before you return home, you read your father's most recent letter. Again and again, you carefully reread your father's uneasy words, steeling yourself for your first real job in the service that awaits. Dear Tooru, I anxiously await your return, my son. You were the third judge in our bloodline, the pride of our family. Yet, these are hard times for a judge. By the Emperor's decree, Archduke Tarquinius Milanitis is no longer the overseer of Magra. The new overseer is the Emperor's own brother, Gaius Tempest. And now our province has been split by enmity and strife between the Archduke and the overseer. The nobles have split into two factions, and so too have the commoners. Some side with the Archduke, loyal to their liege, and determined to follow the traditions of old. Yet many judges and officials are eager to side with Gaius Tempest as the new overseer. Compared to his brother Cornelius, he is less radical and more cautious, but he too seeks to transform the empire and bring the estates to peace. Yet other Archnians are outraged that Duke Milanitis has been deposed. One of them is Dorius Otten, High Commander of Magra. Although Otten and his men are sworn to serve Gaius Tempest and follow his orders, it is no secret that his loyalty remains with the Archduke. While Gaius and the Archduke are at odds, there has been no open confrontation. Yet, I fear their patience may one day run dry. As for the judges at the prefecture, every day we deal with more and more litigation between nobles and commoners, yet there are no imperial laws that clearly formalize the rights of all three estates. Wisdom, honor, and conscience are every judge's best advisor these days. Basically what he's saying is that the law is not cut and dry, so basically just leave it up to your own discretion. You have made the choice to serve the law, and you will have your work cut out for you. You will answer directly to Prefect Augustine Elborn, a long-standing friend of the family. He needs strong allies more than ever. With the support of people such as you and I, the Prefect intends to alter the fate of our province. I'm looking forward to seeing you back in Anazot, Tooru. You put the letter back in your pocket. The walls of Anazot have finally emerged on the horizon. A challenging job at the prefecture awaits you. But first, you are going home. Alright, so I think we will finish up the stream here. I think we got through a lot today. We were able to get through the time at the college, go through some pretty intense experiences, stand up for our rights to become ennobled by the mantle. We graduated from the Imperial College, and now we are homebound. We are returning to our home where we grew up. Now, not as a boy, not as a student, but as a nobleman and as a judge. So I'm very happy with the progress that we made today, guys. And I am going to finish up the stream in just a little bit. So hopefully this loads up in just a good amount of time. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing today? So this is my schedule. I do like a rundown every time. So this is my schedule for the rest of this week. I don't have anything scheduled for tomorrow or for Saturday, but on Sunday it says here pray. This is actually wrong. This is actually wrong. I am going to be playing Deathloop on Sunday, 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Make sure to convert to your own time zone. We are going to be playing Deathloop, because it is the brand new game from Arcane Studios, the same studios that made Prey. It is their brand new game, and it looks interesting. It's the idea of trying to progress in like a world that constantly goes through time loops, you know. And I think, you know, I don't mind going through endless amounts of time loops, because I think that the gameplay for Deathloop looks really interesting, looks really fun, and I always enjoy the way Arcane makes games. So I will be streaming Deathloop on Sunday. So I hope to see as many of you there as possible. I hope to see, you know, new people. Hopefully we can get some new people on board. I don't know. But yeah, I hope to see everybody there. For everybody who did stick around, thank you for coming so much. From Tooru to you, thank you. Take care of yourselves, guys. I hope everybody has a wonderful day or evening or early morning or whatever your time is right now. Thank you for spending your time with me. Take care of yourselves. Oh, Roke, welcome. Welcome. Thank you for lurking the stream, Roke. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, friends, and I hope to see you all around next time.